Hello there. Welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and tonight I have a two-page layout for you here that continues on in the Love Note series, and it won't be a hard one tonight. It's a simple layout that focuses on preconceived notions or ideas about paper or paper lines. But first, let's review the first two layouts in this 5-part series. The first layout focused on texture. We created a textured background by scoring and inking plain cardstock. We added more texture by tearing paper strips and adding paper and other strips to the tops of tags, and it created this wonderful layout rich with texture. The second layout in the series focused on color issues. So I worked on adding different bits and showing you through photo mats and other little extra tags and small bits how you can balance out an unlikely color or a clashy color. Now, one of my viewers out there mentioned that she felt like there was too much embellishing, that I was adding too much and it was starting to look cluttered. So I did want to bring up that all of my layouts and other process videos by others are jumping off points. They're to inspire, to give you ideas, to help you in your paper crafting. So always know that that's the beauty of paper crafting, is that you can make it your own. You can add less, you can add more, you can change it up. And that's why I got into paper crafting, is there's so many things that I love that I can take bits of inspiration from and leave the rest. So take what you love and leave the rest. So tonight we're focusing on preconceived notions about paper and about paper collections. And we're using love notes for my grandson, Waylon James. Waylon James is all boy, and he's having fun at my house, at Grandma's house, just playing with bubbles. And I love the joy in his face. And I wanted to use the Love Notes collection because of that great scarlet shirt that he's wearing. It's actually a football shirt, and he's rough and tumbly, but we're going to add it to the Love Notes Valentine collection. Now, this wasn't Valentine's Day. It was around the same time as now, last year, and so it was cold out, but it works perfectly with Love Notes because he is my little Valentine. He is a little lover, and even though he's all boy, I wanted to focus on using a boy in this collection, and I think it's going to be perfect. I'm actually knowing that we're doing in a 2-page layout. So I have 2 Versamats out and 2 12 by 12 white daisy, and I'm actually taking my black Le Pen, and because there's going to be a lot of white space, I'm going to add black lines around the edge. So I'm taking my extra long T ruler and I'm drawing lines from the 1/2 inch mark, and then our 1/4 inch mark, I believe it is, and then I'm coming in at an 1/8 inch and I'm adding a double line, and I think that's just going to add that little element on the edge to make it not look quite so blank. You could do a lot of things. You could do splattering on the background of the white. You could do blending brushes with a little ink in the background. You could actually do some background stamping. There's so many things that you could do, but I really wanted to make this layout be super simple. So let's start with some sizes here. I have a scarlet that is 7.5 by 10 inches. And I'm going to center that. And then I have this really cute white bear word paper that is going to be 6.5 by 9. And then I actually chose the teddy bear paper, which does seem a little girly, a little feminine, but it's actually going to blend perfectly with Waylon's photos, and it's 5.5 by 8. So I'm actually going to center all 3 of those pieces, and then I wanted to add some strips to add a little bit of vertical dimension. So right now they are 1 by 12, and I'm actually going to trim each of those down to approximately 10.5. So I have the striped strip, And then I have the pink dot strip and the red heart strip. Again, looking a little bit more feminine, but it's actually going to go great with Waylon in his red football shirt and the browns in the background from the wood floor and the cabinets. So I'm going to add 2 vertical 3x4s onto a photo mat. So I have White Daisy at 4.5 by 6 3/4, and I'm going to center those photos on and then just overlap those over the strips a little bit. Now we could do so much with these strips. We could tear them on an angle, we could snip them on an angle, we could dovetail them, we could tear them, we could do many different things with those. I do think originally that I want to leave them 12 inches and just have them be long. And then I decide that I would love to dovetail those. Now on the right page, I'd like to do something similar only on a larger scale and make a nice block. So I have a 10 by 11 scarlet cardstock, and I'm going to mat that on the inside with a 9 by 10 oversized photo mat so I can get at least 4 more photos. So it's all of the same theme. It's all Waylon James playing with bubbles and the joy that he's having just hanging out at home with grandma playing with the bubbles. So I don't need 20 photos of that, right? There's a lot of repetition in them, but I kind of wanted a couple that were the wonder in his eyes as he's waiting for the bubbles to come down, poking the bubbles with his finger, and then the joy on his face while they're coming down super slow and he's waiting for them. One of him chasing the bubbles around the floor, and then another one of them where he's actually reaching for the bubble and it pops in his hands. And I love this series, and I'm so happy I'm going to be able to scrap those. And I'm just going to make a basic grid. I think I'll do journaling on some other bits, maybe over on the white space, maybe add a tag and add the journaling so that I can get 6 photos on the layout. Now, if you go with the grain of the paper, you can actually bend the paper without creasing it. So I'm going to go with the grain, fold the tip of that strip down, and then snip it on an angle to make a quick and easy dovetail. I'm just guesstimating here at about 10.5, and I'm doing the same thing over again. I'm going to repeat that with the other strips, but oftentimes to make things fast and easy, I will actually use the pattern of the first strip, lay it over the next strip, and just simply snip, and then you have your dovetails all the same size, and it makes it so fast. You can just snip dovetails in no time flat. Now I love that we are using something that would typically be preconceived as girly or feminine, or as something that needed to be romantic, and we're using it for an everyday moment. And sometimes when we look at our workshop kits, and I do the same thing, we already brand them. We brand them as boy, we brand them as girl, we brand them as birthday, we brand them as certain things, and we say, well, I don't have those types of photos. Like even me with love notes, I don't have a lot of lovey-dovey Valentine things. Valentine's Day is calving season for us, and it is a horrible time for my husband. He's usually chopping ice, and he's hauling feed, and he's, feeding cattle, and it's usually there's bad weather, and typically in some years he can even still be harvesting and trying to get crops out of the field at the same time that he is working with cattle, and he's so busy. And not that we don't have our romantic moments, and we typically share a little Valentine's dinner, but I don't have a workshop filled with Valentines. Maybe, on an odd year, if we have a really nice winter, you never know, maybe we could go away for a weekend or something. And I've also gone away on Valentine's Day for weekends with girlfriends. But I love being able to use this whole series for a variety of different themes. So I did add foam tape to the photo mat on the left to add dimension, and I want to repeat the pattern from the left page to the right page, only on a larger scale, and then in an opposite direction. I will do that a lot when I need a second page and I need a quick idea. I will rotate the pattern from the left and use a different pattern on the right, or I'll use the same layout theme, but I'll actually make it on a larger scale to add more photos. And it's a really fast and easy way to turn a single page into a double page. You're just extending the pattern across the other page and then making it a little bit larger on that right page. Now, while I'm getting the base and the strips together and I'm continuing to dovetail, won't you take a moment to just hit subscribe and the notifications bell so that you get to see all of the layouts in this series. It's a 5-part series, and this is part 3. And at the end of the 5th part in the series, I have a cheat sheet option. So I'm trying to be very careful in the process videos in all 5 parts to give you all the dimensions and all the detail that you need if you want to follow along with me and just recreate. But if you're a person who likes a little bit more support and a little bit more guidance, I always have a cheat sheet option that you can get, and it's typically posted here and on my blog that will give you all of the sizes and how to cut your paper along with full color photos and other tips. So you can do that as an option as well. And I also wanted to mention that that this is one of those layouts to me that is so simple. The background is super basic and super simple, and I would love to embellish it in a simple manner as well. You can add less, you can add more, you can take away the idea and make it your own. If there's an area where I am using tags, you can use rectangle stickers. If there's an area where I'm using circles, you could use circle stickers. You can use things from a punch. You can use things from the Cricut. There's so many things that you can do to substitute and make this layout your own. There we have a super simple background, and here are all the bits that are left over. Now, I went in great detail. This layout series of 5 is using the Love Notes product bundle, because it's always discounted. And in that bundle is the Love Notes stamp and thin cut, and I have considered adding the truck here and the license plates. Let me double check the name of that stamp. It is the Tailgate Greetings stamp and thin cut, and it has a little truck, and then it has personalized license plates with all kinds of different sayings and sentiments. And I couldn't quite get the pink to work or the red to work. There is a little bit of shortbread in the workshop, and so I thought maybe I could incorporate that, and I actually end up not using it on this layout. There's 2 more layouts in the series, so I may be able to use it in that series, but I will link videos 1 and videos 2 in the description of this video, and you can get a full detail on all of the parts and pieces. But the Cricut pieces that I've added in this particular layout, we have some circles with some starbursts on it, which to me can substitute for florals. I'm looking at some of my title options. We have XOXO, we have Be Mine, we have flowers, we have love. We have a few little bits and pieces in some smaller stickers, and even though they may give you that preconceived notion of Valentine's, I totally want my grandson to be mine. I want him to be mine and to be little forever. And I love that he snuggles with me and cuddles with me and plays with me. And he does all of those things that make him mine. He is mine. He is my grandson. And I love him as I do with all 8 of my grandkids. And I don't have a problem at all using Be Mine for this layout for him. I think it will will be a great title. I am contemplating XOXO, Kisses and Hugs, as well, because when I see his face in this layout, I do just want to give him kisses and hugs. So I'm thinking about using one of the textured tags that we created in a previous video by adding a 1x2 piece to a 2x3 tag, and then just snipping the edges, and then maybe do some journaling on that. I want to back that, since it's white on white, with another Cricut tag. Again, you can make a 2x3 tag easy by cutting a 2x3 rectangle and snipping the corners off. It's so easy to do. I love the idea of just making a very simple circle cluster with those starbursts up in the left, adding the 2 tags, and then doing another cluster on the lower right, adding the Be Mine title, and then one last cluster over on the right. So I can show my little paper crafter that thought that I had too much embellishing on the last layout that you can do less. I can do less. I have some layouts that are so over the top with lots of embellishments, and that's actually my style. I love that style, but then I also love functional simple scrapping that has very simple clusters and uses just bits and pieces from the stamp or from the sticker sheet as well. So we do have some smaller bits from the sticker sheet. We have stars and we have hearts, and I'm considering adding little stars to the top of those starbursts. Stars are just another way to embellish, and we've used a lot of hearts. I will use some of those puff sticker hearts in this because I love them, and I love to add the finishing touches. So I will be adding some of those. So I think we could offset those by adding stars to the center of the starbursts, and I think I'm going to love that. I added the love sticker to the top of the left photo on the right page, and I like that little tab. And then I also added the I love you and the arrow to that. I think I'm gonna love that to the starbursts on the right, and I think it's going to be just enough. Now, adding some of the puff stickers, we always want to add finishing touches to tags and to little bits and pieces to make them look finished. Now, you could make things look finished by inking edges. You can make them look finished by adding even more black lines with your black Le Pen. So for example, the ballerina tag on the upper left, you can totally add black journaling lines around that. You could add white gel pen around that. You could go a couple steps further and add white gel pen around the scarlet rectangles on the base page. So much more that you could do to add more. So always know with my layouts, you can add more and you can take away. You can add less. And you know, my paper crafters do that all the time. If they've earned the Cricut option for one of my workshops, oftentimes they will take all of the Cricut embellishments that I've given them and they will make the pages that I've created, and then they will make more and stretch out those embellishments. And that's actually how I got started making workshops, is by stretching the bits and pieces that come in the workshop kit across 5 or 6 layouts instead of just 3. I'm happy. I'm getting happy, and I hope that you will consider using love notes for many other things besides Valentine's Day or feminine themes. I hope you've loved today's layout and that it's simple enough for you to recreate and that you will make it your own. Again, won't you take a moment to shoot me a comment, to hit the notifications bell and the subscribe button so you don't miss any future inspiration, and you can catch the last 2 layouts in the series. The next layout in the series will be layout number 4 of Love Notes. Thanks for hanging with me and hanging out and watching. Happy scrapping, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.